Okay guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to save money. I know that right now during a pandemic having savings would be so perfectly, but some of us don't have that, so I'm just going to teach you some ways on how to save a little bit of money. You can do it however you want, or you can follow me exact step by step. So let's get into our first tip. So tip number one, I saw this hack or trick on TikTok, and it's basically where you get envelopes, a box, and a pen, a piece of paper, no, a pen or a pencil, or color crayons or markers, whatever you want to use to write on your envelopes. But basically what you'll do is you'll take a stack of envelopes and you'll label them 1 through 100. I've already labeled all mine, and just for the purpose of saving time for this video, so I've already labeled mine. And you get a container, and what you do is you put your envelopes in your container. You can choose to have a box and a bigger envelope, whatever you desire to use, you can use that. I just chose to get a box from the dollar store, so I got this at the dollar store for $1. I got these at the dollar store for $1. Everything that I have I bought at the dollar store, so it'd be super cheap. And then we'll just put our envelopes inside our box, and every day you will pick out a envelope from inside of your box. So for instance, I picked out an envelope and it was 59. Excuse my handwriting, it's very ugly. I was in a rush, but I picked out 59. So you would just put $59 in this envelope, and you take some tape and you'll tape off the back of the envelope. And every day for 100 days straight, you will pull a different envelope. And at the end of 100 days, you should have saved $5,050. So that would be a nice chunk of change to save. You could choose to do that, you know, maybe 2 times a year if you choose, or you could do it 1 time a year. And then you would have a nice chunk of change. You know, you could try to use that on Christmas or whatever you desire. So that is our tip number 1. And so tip number 2, what you could do is sort of similar to tip number 1, where you label the envelopes 1 through 100. What you can do is label them 1 through 52. I believe that's how many weeks are in the year. I'm not exact, don't quote me, but 52 weeks in a year. So you could do, you know, envelopes. You can label envelope 1 through 52, and every week you can pull out a different envelope and put that amount of money in there too. Or you could do it every time you get paid. So like I get paid every 2 weeks, so I could choose to make envelopes maybe 1 through 100 and pick out like maybe 2 or 3 envelopes for each pay period and go that way. So I can save money in there. Tip number 3, also you could sleep on it. Like me, sometimes I'm an impulse buyer, so if you know, sit on it, think on it, go to sleep on it, and come back, wake up in the morning and say, you know, do I really need this item? Do I really want it? And half the time you probably won't, or you will. Me, if I have to sleep on it, it just means that, you know, I might not need it. And so in the morning, if I wake up and I'm like, dang, you know, I really should get it, then, you know, I will get it. But I try not to just impulse buy, because it just really you're just spending your money just to spend it. Also, tip number 4, make sure you budget. I have always budgeted everything. I try to budget because I want to know how much money is going to be here, what am I going to be doing with this, and, you know, making sure that I spend the right amount of money, because, you know, nobody wants to go into debt, especially not right now. But I understand that some people are probably in a little bit of debt because COVID and this pandemic and having to quarantine. So I know it's hard for people. And I know that it could be really tough on your family if you do the first tip where you do the 100 days of the envelopes. Also, the 5th tip is to set a goal for yourself. So if you wanted to, for instance, me, if I wanted to buy another camera, then I can set a goal and save that certain amount every month. Like you would budget, but on what money left you would want to spend, you know, per se. Like maybe if you wanted to spend money on makeup, maybe you can save a little bit of that money that you want to spend on makeup, save that portion and save it to get to your bigger goal, which is to buy the camera. That could be very helpful for you, is just to set a goal and try to accomplish it. Another tip is, do you really need it? So our 6th tip is, do you really need it? Do you really need it, or do you want it? Like there's a difference. Like I really want makeup, but do I need it? For instance, I always want new eyeshadow palettes, but it's like, okay, I have an eyeshadow palette that is red, that's all red colors, different shades of reds, and then there'll be another palette that comes out that has different shades of red. It's like, do I really need it? So really ask yourself if it's something that you need, or is it something that you want? And that'll kind of give you a little bit of, I shouldn't spend my money, or oh, I really don't have nothing like that, so I should get it. So that's another good one, because I use that all the time. Like I'll be in the store and I'll see like a nice shirt or something, and I'll be like, do I really need this, or do I want it? Am I really going to wear it? Is it something that is really going to be a go-to for me? So it's always those type of tips, all those type of factors you have to think about. Another tip that I have, tip number 7, would be just to don't go out and eat. Kind of meal prep, buy your food the week of, meal prep it, cook one day maybe if you want to, and just meal prep it and get all your meals out. I know me, I used to be a heavy out to eat eater because I didn't want to come home and cook, but then I started meal prepping and I've saved a lot of money by just meal prepping and not having to spend money on Uber Eats or going to McDonald's, Taco Bell, Mexican restaurants, whatever you want, name it. I haven't had to spend money on out to eat food because I've also been cooking. So just trying to do those little things will also save you a little bit of money. For instance, if you go out to eat like once or twice a week, that's like $20 to $30. So while you're spending that $20 or $30, you could be saving that $20 or $30 for you in the future on something that you really do need. And that also, with you saving money, will have an emergency fund for yourself in the future. If something ever happened and you needed money immediately, you would have it because you saved it. And I think that a lot of people tend to, when they have an emergency, they might not have the money for that in the future to have. If they get into an emergency, they're not going to have that money, so they have to borrow it or take a loan out. So I suggest you just really pay attention to what you're spending. Try to save. Don't go out to eat, and really just focus on staying home and eating and just being mindful of what you're spending your money on. So that includes my little couple tips on how to save money. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias, and my social medias will be linked down in the description below. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Also, don't forget to just subscribe and share. Until I see you guys again next time, I love you. Be safe. Bye.